I love sneaking down to the almond tree and having a little treat. And the marvellous thing about almonds is they look really ugly, but you get this outside off and it's nature's perfect packaging because underneath that is this beautiful sweet nut. And if you keep them in the shells, they're actually going to keep for months, almost years. But once you take them out of the shell, you need to put them in the fridge or the freezer because they'll go rancid really quickly. These almonds will add a lovely crunch to our dessert tonight. People always go home happy if you give them a nice pudding, and I like to make mine well ahead of time so I can relax. It takes all the angst out of it. The recipe that I want to show you today is such a terrific recipe because it only uses 4 ingredients, and they are such simple, cheap ingredients. You've got flour, butter, eggs and water, and you're going to make this most fantastic pastry that just puffs up like magic. French housewives have been making this choux pastry for about 500 years. It's so simple, yet so spectacular. Mark out a circle because I'm going to make a ring here, and just flip that up the other way so you don't get lead poisoning. Into a saucepan, place half a cup of water and 4 tablespoons of butter. Bring it to a rolling boil over medium heat. And here's the fun bit, you dump in all the flour at once. So I have got 3/4 cup of flour. Bang goes in there. And you have to keep stirring it over that heat for about a minute because you want to start cooking out the flour enough so that it forms a bit of a sort of sticky bit on the bottom. It's a bit like making a white sauce, really. Transfer it to a cake mixer and add a dessert spoon of sugar and a dash of vanilla. Add 2 large eggs, one at a time, beating well in between each one. Okay, so let's have a look at this because when you lift the beater, what you want is a mixture which actually breaks rather than forming one long thread of dough, and it is. Spoon it out to make a ring shape within the marked paper. I'm using a fork to spread the mixture so it cooks evenly, and the fork lines encourage the mixture to split on the top rather than breaking at the sides. Sprinkle with 1/4 cup of almond slices and bake at 200 degrees Celsius for about 12 minutes. Then reduce the heat to 180 Celsius for a further 15 minutes until golden. Turn off the oven and leave it to cool for 15 minutes. Look at that! I just love the fact that was so easy and so quick. And the great thing about that mixture is I can make it into so many different desserts. I love making little round puffs and then I fill them with vanilla ice cream and lashings of chocolate sauce. Or sometimes I shape them into eclairs and fill them with a coffee cream liqueur and then coffee icing and chopped pistachios. Yum. All it needs now is my creamy lemon filling and some fresh sweet strawberries. Take a cup of lemon curd and loosely fold it through 2 cups of whipped cream. This creates a lovely marbled effect. Slather over the cream and pile on sliced strawberries. Be generous. I use at least 2 dozen big berries. Pop the top back on and rain over the icing sugar. How good is that? Time to head outside and pick something that's going to give a wonderful fragrance and flavour to my chicken dish. Kaffir lime. It's so intensely aromatic and it's the quintessential ingredient in Thai cooking. The really interesting thing about this plant is it's a double-leafed citrus, and it's the leaf that I'm interested in, not the fruit. 1 or 2 leaves will add the most fantastic flavour to any dish. What you want to do is strip out the central rib. That's the tough part. Then you can just finely shred the leaf and it's going to be the most delicious flavour in my chicken tonight. This is such a great dish to have at your fingertips when time's tight and everyone's hungry. First, a fragrant spicy sauce. You'll need 3 teaspoons of finely grated lemongrass, 2 finely chopped kaffir lime leaves, 2 crushed cloves of garlic, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, and half a cup of sweet chili sauce. Slather this all over the chicken in the dish. Bake in a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius for 30 to 35 minutes until the chicken's cooked through and golden. This sauce also makes a brilliant dressing for an Asian noodle salad with lettuce, shrimps and coriander. And it makes such a good dipping sauce for crispy spring rolls. My lemongrass and chili chicken is the most fragrant, succulent and speedy dish imaginable, and simply cooked rice is the perfect partner. Jasmine rice is the ideal rice to serve with the chili chicken. It's got a lovely toothsome quality and ever so slightly sticky like you might get in a Thai restaurant. I'm using the absorption method. For every cup of rice you need 1 1/4 cups of water and a little salt. To make it taste nice, there are different sorts of aromatics that you might like to add. I've got my lovely kaffir lime leaves here, but you could also use things like cardamom pods and peppercorns, fennel seeds. They will infuse another flavour into the rice. You want to get it hot quite quickly, and then as soon as it comes to a boil, give it another wee stir, put the lid on and turn the heat down to the lowest possible. Cook it for 12 minutes, then leave it covered for 15 to 20 minutes off the heat. Give it a fluff with a fork and serve. It really is the most delicious way to cook rice.